Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to come to this session, and a quick show of hands of who knows Site 24/7 or Zoho. Okay, there are a lot of people here. Thank you. Great. So today I'm going to talk about how modern IT is helping us in the digital age, why customer experience is important, and is your IT prepared for it? The talking point will be on the theme of how our IT team needs to be prepared for the next growth wave, right? So this is going to be what I'll be covering today, how digital transformation has accelerated after cloud came into existence, the growth of the internet itself, and how IT became modern, the role of Devops as of today, and finally how towards the business end I'll touch upon an important section on the Devops life cycle, which is continuous monitoring, which what Site 24/7 does. So I would say innovation comes from survival. Okay, so a bit of history here to start with. Right back in 2000s, when the dot-com bubble happened, Zoho was called as AdventNet. Okay, back then, and we were a network management platform. Our main regions were in Japan, being our primary market there. But then customers in the dot-com bubble, we had a healthy customer of like 150 enterprise customers. But then it suddenly came down to just three. We didn't have actually leads, as the sales people calls it, pre-sales leads. They were zero. So at that time, some of the hard or the proactive decisions that we took was not to burden customers' infrastructure. Our network management product was they'll have to install in their infrastructure. But we had to take a new age model. Okay, in fact, we were one of the pioneers in cloud business. We started Zoho CRM, which was one of our first products in the year 2005, just right before even AWS had started their cloud journey. Okay, and for the next 17 years, we built hundreds of products to cater to different market segments and different verticals. So we believe software is a craft, an art form that requires diligent study, innovation, and constant refinement. You need to actually feel what we build, right? And appreciate it, the nuances of it, take care of it, and also nurture it. So while we were at it, AWS came into place, born out of actually their own need to survive in the market. iPhone came into place since Apple needed to survive in the market. So as you can see this trend, right? So the philosophy was, or the mindset of the entrepreneurs, innovation comes from survival in the industry. So when you look back at the growth of the internet, you'll appreciate and even more have nostalgic memories of how internet was there then back in the days when the first ones I know was the CDMA mobile that Reliance had launched. That was the first experience of a mobile internet age. So fast forward today, we have 4.6 billion internet users that are using the internet, 2.6 billion users purchasing online. These are just mind-blowing numbers, and our friend who was here before had also said how data has exploded after the internet age. So gone are the days when we used to depend on papers, booking tickets, going to and from offices. So this is actually my flight ticket that I got a screenshot yesterday. This is just I have a mobile, and then the app is there, and I given my PNR number, and I get the ticket. So that's how Swiggy works. That's how Pizza Hut or Indigo or any vertical, they have a digital representation of how they are as a business today, right? So our everyday lives actually depend on the internet. See, from multi-billion-dollar businesses to small roadside vendors. You can see here the phone pays and the Google pays of today. It's been accessed by the small vendor, and we are actually paying it through mobile. That's how internet has changed us. So in today's world, digital experience matters a lot. From this context of what I'm talking about, all this boils down now to how your digital experience, your business's digital experience works. So in spite of customer experience and digital world we are in, a recent survey, for example, only 15% are happy with their online purchases, what the digital happiness survey has conducted revealed, which is surprising, and which is also there's a need for that end of the spectrum to be largely taken into account. So what causes unhappiness in customer experiences? So elements that cause most unhappiness are crashes, the advertisement pop-ups that come into place, discount codes not working when actually put into place, website actually goes down or an app goes down, not able to be accessed, no internet coverage somewhere, customers not finding what actually they are looking for. These are some of the problems or customer churn-offs that you get when something goes wrong, when the digital experience actually is bad. So as I said, digital experience matters, and so businesses should look for delighting the customers rather than do what they are just asking for. So what happens when we delight our customers? So they actually evangelize us on behalf of us. They show off the apps and the tools that they use to others. They tolerate some problems that might have in the tool or in their application. They resist competition. Always there is a competition out there and they want to go. But if we are delighting the customers, they kind of resist. I am happy and I am safe here. That's the trend, that's the mindset of the people. And they also kind of contribute to the community as well. So on behalf of us, they kind of talk on behalf of us, they give suggestions on the tool itself, so on and so forth. Those are some of the advantages when you delight your customer through your customer experience. So for this, our architecture or our infrastructure has to be available. Our infrastructure has to be optimally performing well, right? So we now shift to the infrastructure side of things, the infra that actually runs it. So in every modern system architecture, we have the network layer, the data centers, that runs the hardware, that has the hardware, which on top of that run the servers, or if you are on cloud these days, we are now the next level. We are now serverless, and we have containers, Kubernetes, Dockers, all those things, right? However, all these things have to work in tandem. Efficacy depends on how well these work together. Only when these work together, the IT teams can contribute, and then the customer experience in turn is delightful to your end customers. So this is probably right now today one of your architectures. There are a lot of microservices available there, and each are interconnected, highly complex but yet scalable due to the cloud. This is what I would call it as a modern day IT architecture. But a more sane would be a microservices architecture interconnected with some flows, and you'll know what is flowing through which service, or something is breaking or something is pointing out there's a breakage or there's a small performance problem. There's an indication that there's a problem in a particular microservice, right? So who runs all these? Who runs the applications or the IT backstage? So one of the primary stakeholders here are the Devops, right? So they're the ones who actually run the business, your digital business. Of course, you still have the sysadmins, the network admins, the DBs. But today's cloud native world, cloud native infrastructure, I believe DevOps are the ones. Their culture defines how software is deployed and run today. Who's a DevOps? So there are two key divisions I would like to point out here. The consumer of the infrastructure, who's the developer, who's the line of business owner, and the sysadmin and the IT admin, who's actually the provisioner, okay? So the provider. So they, in time, they actually merge together and form the DevOps revolution. So a little more detailed in depth. So consumers are line of businesses, roles that reside within or outside the application DevOps team. They are the providers are infrastructure teams and SREs. They are the providers of the infrastructure runtime. So those who provide for their applications to run smoothly. For example, the infrastructure team worries about the SLA of a server, while the application or the developer team worries about the SLO or the service level objective of the application. So if you take the DevOps life cycle, as you know, the infinite life cycle, plan, code, build, test, release, all these come into the DevOps life cycle, and there are different versions, but to just get an idea of how the life cycle was. So I'd like to touch upon the tool set for observability and why there is an ever increasing need for it. Digital transformation has actually augmented the need for observation, and observation injects data-driven metrics. A lot of data is available today, and what are the business KPIs, how long a task is running, and how important it is for us to actually determine determine the task based on it, how the customers are using it. The capacity planning, for example. These metric needs to be constantly monitored for analysis. It naturally invites operations to be involved and to take immediate actions to bring problem back over time. So over time, the cloud acceleration, it merged into development, and as well, development is code. We see in this journey that observability has merged into the development life cycle, though traditionally it was actually operated and managed by the ops team. So Site 24/7 is an AI-powered all-in-one monitoring solution which can monitor your websites, your end-user experience, both synthetic and real-time. It can monitor your servers, your network, it can monitor your cloud, on-premise, private cloud. You can go right into your application code, your traces, your logs. Complementing it, we have our instant communication platform, which is called as Status IQ, and our cloud cost analytics platform, so which can analyze your cost and give out information and analytics of how you spend your cloud data or cloud infrastructure events. So we are built on the Zoho cloud. It can collect any metrics. On top of that, we do AI with this data. We send out alerts to stakeholders and engineers proactively, do automation on top of the alerts if needed. We have a built-in collaboration platform, which is a Zoho Click, which you can communicate during an incident and so on, and feature it in highly scalable, highly secure platform with security compliance built in. having dedicated data centers here in India and across the world. So we are SOC 2 compliant, GDPR compliant, and now you can see here ISO compliant as well. So to summarize, digital customer experience is paramount, helping the team that it's in the hot seat. Devops isolate problems easily today in microservices architecture, and Site 24/7, an all-in-one monitoring platform that helps isolate that problem in any layer of the IT stack and deliver a great user experience. So thank you for your time. We are at the end of the presentation now. So we have a booth right outside, and we are planning to give away a gift, and you can be definitely be part of it. So thank you once again.